Hi, this is Islamic Dad here. If you enjoy this channel, please subscribe. It does help me out a lot. Tonight I'm going to do a video on what I refer to as favorite person and other person. So what this is has usually been called is you'll have your main supply, which is typically the boyfriend, girlfriend, spouse, whatever, and then you'll have the backup supply. And while that's not necessarily like a bad terminology, I think that a better, more accurate model is to think of it as favorite person, other person. So starting out with, say, the love bombing phase, I think that the narcissist is wholly focused on their target, on their main supply, their favorite person, and that at that point they're not really chatting with a dozen people behind your back. They're not maybe flirting with their office spouse, not necessarily scanning for replacement or backup or anything like that. They're really focused 100% on you because during the love bombing phase, I would argue that the narcissist is getting 100% of the supply that they need from you. And in their mind, you are the perfect partner, you're the surrogate mother, you are everything that they've wanted to be. You literally complete them. And so there's no motivation to go behind your back or do anything like that up until the point that things change. I refer to this point as the tipping point. I've also heard it called, fracture or the fracture, where something small, insignificant happens, but it makes the narcissist realize that you're not perfect, that you're not the surrogate mother that they were looking for, that you're not necessarily going to give them unconditional love, no matter what, for the rest of their lives, and that you're actually just a human being. And up until then, in the narcissist's mind, you were perfect. And so at that point starts the devalue phase. The mind of the narcissist and their perspective has completely changed at that point. And I think it's at that point, at the tipping point fracture, that the narcissist begins looking for what's commonly called backup supply. So they'll start chatting with or texting like a dozen different people behind your back. They'll start flirting with their office spouse. They might even reach out to old boyfriends or old girlfriends at that point, and they're kind of vetting people and seeing like, okay, who's high status, who responds to my flirting, who has characteristics that I admire or characteristics that I'm missing, and from my persona or my life. And so that begins at that point. And as time goes on through the devalue phase, they'll pick a person. After they've gone through that process, they will say, okay, this is the backup. And that's where I think it's a good idea to refer to them, the backup, as the other person, because I feel like for a very large part of the devalue phase, that the narcissist is going to have their favorite person and their other person. And as the devalue phase goes on, the attention given is going to switch between the two. And so starting out at the beginning of the devalue phase, the narcissist is probably still giving you most of their attention. Like instead of 100%, maybe it goes to 99, to 95, to 90. And, as time goes on, they give more attention to their other person until after months, years, they will reach a point where most of their attention is being given to the other person and not their quote favorite person. And so at this point, I mean, this is an interesting, point in the relationship because, formally, officially, whatever you want to call it, they're still with you. They're treating you like garbage. They are distant. They are disconnected. You probably have lots of fights. They're sabotaging plans left and right. Their personality's starting to change. And again, as a footnote, their personality is probably starting to change to match the other person. And so you may catch them acting a little bit different or even using phrases that they haven't used before. And again, that's because they're starting to mold themselves to the other person. Yet at the same time, they're still in that relation with you formally. And so this will continue until the emotional discard. And I think, I think I've done videos on the emotional discard before, but one of the things I want to point out with regards to the favorite person, other person, is that at the emotional discard, the attention given to you drops to 0. And the attention to the other person is 100%. And if you've been in a relationship with a narcissist, you know when that happens. You can feel it. And for me, I would describe my, narcissist at the time as a ghost or just vapors. They might, or a mannequin, like they might be there physically, but emotionally, mentally, they were far, far away. And it's because mentally and emotionally, they're 100% focused on their other person. And so you have like the emotional discard, and then depending on what happens with, the relationship, you might have a situation where the narcissist, does a physical discard and breaks up with you and says, enough is enough and, move out and stuff like that. From what I've heard, seen, read, I would argue that happens maybe 50% of the time, and the other 50% of the time, again, for whatever reason, the way the narcissist mind works, instead of breaking up with you, they will just continue sabotaging the relationship and making it so unbearable that you finally break up with them. And this isn't by accident. This is by design, because when you break up with them, they can play the victim. They can turn you into the villain and say that you're the bad guy and say, I can't believe you're doing this to me after all these years that we've had together. This is a shock, and I can't believe, after everything, we've done. And they might start throwing out some items from like the future faking, back years ago. But, they're not going to try to fix things. Let's be honest. They're just going to, get some jabs in, throw out some things to kind of hijack the narrative and make it that you're the bad guy and they're the, helpless victim. And so at that point, you have the physical discard, or what's commonly called in, the narcissistic, world, if I can call it that, is the reverse discard, where again, they just push and push and push and push until you say, enough's enough. I'm leaving. I'm divorcing you. I can't take this anymore. This marriage is a sham. And then the waterworks start, and they're like, oh my God, I can't believe you're filing for divorce, and, and stuff like that. But again, they'll say all that stuff, but they won't lift a finger to try to fix anything. So at that point, they've already been working for months, maybe even years, to nurture their relationship with the other person. And so, again, one of the things that I've noticed, or at least in my life, with the dynamics of the reverse discard, where they push you to break up with them, is that at that point they can go running into the arms of the other person and tell them that this happened and turn on the waterworks and say, I can't believe this happened. I'm so incredibly hurt. Can I come over? Can you come over here? Can we cuddle on the couch? I just want to thank you for being in my life and thank you for being there. Sorry, I'm laughing because it's so devious. It is so devious. I mean, because the narcissist has been planning this for like a year. And so at that point, without missing a beat, the backup supply, the other person that they've had waiting in the wings, that they've been nurturing and connecting with for like the past month, year, or months, years, or whatever, they're able to just pivot and just hop into a relationship with them instantaneously. I mean, there's really no time between when the one relationship ends for the narcissist and the other begins. And so the reason that I want to point this out with saying other person versus backup supply is that, again, in my experience with the narcissist in my life, backup supply is a very vague general term that can simply mean the 10 people that they're sexting with, or the people that they're chatting with at work and flirting with. Like, it's just this source of supply as they go through the devalue phase, but it's not necessarily like they're considering all of them as the person they're going to switch to once the relationship ends with you. Again, there's one person out of all their backup supply that they are like, okay, that is going to be the person that I'm going to be in a relationship with next. And that's why I think it's much better to use the terminology of favorite person, other person. And then, as you can probably, guess from, these examples, once the narcissist has made the switch and the other person becomes the new favorite person, rinse and repeat. It starts all over again. The narcissist starts the love bombing with their favorite person. The tipping point or fracture happens. They go into the devalue phase. And then the narcissist yet again begins the search for their other person and starts the cycle all over again. So hopefully this video's been helpful.